Agreeing to catch Cal, Bradley immediately arranged for people to take action. In the early morning, right as Cal walked out of a clubhouse, he was caught. He was found in a clubhouse last night, but Bradley's people didn't take action right away, in order to stop other people from discovering it. After all, there were several important people supporting Cal, so they shouldn't alarm them. The next morning, as soon as Cal was caught, Cameron took the earliest flight to Chicago. He needed to see both Bradley and Jonathan. Jonathan was fine now. He was still recovering in the hospital, so Cameron decided to visit him later. But he needed to interrogate Cal as soon as possible. Although they already knew who ordered Cal to do it, they still needed his confession. Cameron was the same age as Bradley. He was also very handsome, but he came across as aloof and dangerous. Only those who were familiar with him knew that he was easy to get along with, and that he only looked mysterious in front of outsiders. Once Cameron saw Bradley, he asked urgently, "Where is Cal?" "He's in the basement," Bradley answered. "It's actually his friend's. Normally, it was empty and was only used for vacations." Bradley needed to stay in Chicago for a while, so he directly moved into the house. It wasn't convenient for him to stay in a hotel, and although he was very rich, he didn't have the habit of buying houses everywhere. "Take me to see him," Cameron ordered. Then, Bradley took Cameron to the basement, where Cal was being held. Cal was about 40 years old. He was tall and strong. He used to be a professional bouncer, but was put in jail after robbing a girl and disabling her boyfriend. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. Therefore, when Paul, the deputy warden of the prison, came to ask him for help, he quickly agreed. Paul promised to help Cal escape from prison if he agreed to plant a bomb in Jonathan's car. After he did it, it was up to him whether he would be caught again or successfully escape. Cal was sentenced to life imprisonment, so he had no chance of leaving the prison if he didn't agree. If he agreed, he could have a chance to be free. He wasn't dumb and knew which was the better choice. However, Cal was foolish. After planting the bomb, he didn't escape right away. He went to a clubhouse in Chicago for fun. Perhaps he thought the most dangerous place was the safest place. Honestly, even if he ran away, he would still be caught by Bradley sooner or later. Now, Cal was tied to a chair in the basement. His mouth was sealed with tape, and he could barely move. Cal didn't know the man who captured him, but he figured out the reason why he was caught. It must have something to do with Jonathan. However, he couldn't believe that they found him so quickly and caught him already. It was unbelievably efficient. Cal wasn't scared, but he was angry that he had been caught already. He had only been out of jail for 2 weeks, and he hadn't enjoyed himself enough yet. Cameron walked forward and removed the tape on Cal's mouth, then asked straightforwardly, "Cal, do you know why we caught you?" "How could I know?" Cal retorted. Even though he was clearly aware of it, he still acted dumb and refused to confess. "Since you don't know, I can tell you. At about 8:30 p.m. yesterday, you planted a bomb in Jonathan Kushner's car. Do you admit it?" Cameron asked. "You can't put the blame on me. Where is the evidence?" Cal denied. Although Cameron directly pointed it out, Cal still wouldn't confess. "Evidence? Of course I have it. Otherwise, why would we bother to catch you?" Cameron said, before taking out his phone and playing the surveillance video of Cal placing the bomb. This time, Cal couldn't deny it. "So, will you admit it now?" Cameron asked. "So what? I think the result won't be different whether I admit it or not," Cal replied airily. As Bradley and his friends ate their meal, they chatted for a while, and suddenly the conversation turned to Mia. It was Cameron who brought her up first. "Oh, Dean, did you see the video of a girl rescuing people from the car that caught on fire yesterday? I'm totally amazed. I can't believe a girl could be so strong. She removed the car doors with her bare hands." Cameron raved. He was still excited when he thought about it. "I saw it. Her name is Mia Gomez. She's indeed impressive," Dean agreed. Although Bradley didn't want to tell Cameron Mia's name, Dean brought it up, so he couldn't stop it. "Do you know her? Mia?" Cameron asked at once, his eyes lighting up in excitement. It would be great if his friend knew her, so that he could find the girl. "Yeah, in fact, Bradley also knows her. She competed with him in a car race and a fight. She's really unbelievable," Dean explained. showing obvious admiration and appreciation. Cameron abruptly turned to look at Bradley. He was annoyed and questioned. "Bradley, I just asked you who the girl is and her phone number. Why did you say you didn't know her?" Dean also stared at Bradley with an innocent look. Did he say something wrong? At the same time, he was confused. Why did Bradley say he didn't know Mia? Did he not want Cameron to know about it? All of a sudden, Dean couldn't figure out Bradley's intention. "I didn't want to tell you," Bradley admitted. Cameron was struck dumb for a second and didn't know what to say. However, the next moment he guessed. "Do you like her? So you don't want me to find her and stop her from falling in love with me?" Dean instinctively had the same idea, but didn't think it was possible. Bradley gave Cameron a sideways glance. He didn't feel guilty or mad. He only said in a flat tone, "Don't think too much. She simply doesn't want to be bothered." "Fine," Cameron shrugged, then stopped blaming Bradley for not telling him. He continued, "But I still want to make friends with her. If you know her, can you ask her to hang out with us? She's going to take the SAT soon, and she's always busy with studying. She doesn't have time to spend with you." Bradley lied. If Cameron wanted to be friends with Mia, he would have to do it on his own. Bradley refused to do the introduction. "What? She's still in high school?" Cameron asked in surprise. Although he couldn't see her age, he was still astonished after hearing that she hadn't graduated from high school yet. Bradley nodded. "Yeah, she's a senior," he confirmed. "Fine, I can wait," Cameron said. He didn't want to waste Mia's precious time. "Oh, Dean, you just said Mia competed against Bradley in car racing and fighting. What was the result?" he added curiously. Even though it was impressive that Mia competed with Bradley in the first place, Cameron didn't think that she could be better than Bradley because he was extremely skilled. If Mia could be as good as Bradley, she must be extraordinary. After all, she was only a teenage girl. They reached the finish line in the race at the same time. In fighting, Mia was slightly worse than Bradley, Dean explained. Cameron was stunned. "What? They finished the race at the exact same time? Bradley, did you do your best?" he asked immediately. He thought that maybe Bradley had gone easy on Mia. Perhaps he wasn't the best racer, and there might be racers who were better than him. But he was undoubtedly the fastest speed. "But she almost overtook me. If we compete again, I'm not sure who will win," Bradley answered honestly. He didn't think it was embarrassing that Mia was better than him. Most men cared about their pride more than anything, but Bradley chose to face reality. If Mia was indeed better than him, he was willing to admit it. "Wow, she must be incredible. She tied with you in the race and was only slightly worse than you in the fight? In that case, Dean and I couldn't defeat her," Cameron remarked. He admired Mia more than before. He had seen many outstanding women in car racing and fighting before, but they weren't as well-rounded as Mia. Cameron didn't know that Mia was much better than he thought. Otherwise, he would be more shocked. "Mia has aroused my curiosity. If you don't give me her phone number, I'll find it by myself," Cameron insisted. He was even more determined to meet Mia. Bradley said nothing. He wouldn't give Cameron Mia's phone number. If Cameron wanted it, he could get it on his own. After having the meal, they rested for a while, and then went to the circuit. Cameron loved car racing too, but he didn't dare to compete with Bradley. He only raced against Dean. Even when racing with Dean, he rarely won, and lost most of the time. However, there wasn't a big difference between them. This time, Cameron competed with Dean, but was 20 seconds behind him at the ending point. It wasn't the first time he lost to him, but Cameron was still disappointed. Dean comforted him. "It's understandable that you can't win. After all, you're so busy. You don't have time to practice racing. I have some time to do that, so I'm more familiar with it than you." "You're right. I feel much better now," Cameron said, agreeing that Dean had a point. "Come on, we can have a fighting competition. I don't think you can defeat me this time," he added proudly. "You're a major in the army. You're either training or doing tasks every day. I'm obviously no match for you. But I want to see how much progress you've made," Dean responded. Even if he knew he couldn't defeat Cameron, he was still interested. Cameron was indeed a major in the army, and he was comparatively young among majors. Afterwards, Dean sparred against Cameron. Both men were good at fighting, but the two of them were barely a match for Bradley or Mia. In their eyes, Bradley was unbelievably skilled. He wasn't only good at fighting, he was also intelligent, and he had many other skills. If he joined the army, he could undoubtedly achieve a lot and have a much higher rank than Cameron, but he didn't do that. He loved to be a free businessman and had powerful connections in politics, military, and business. Accordingly, Bradley was very mysterious in Dean's eyes. Actually, Bradley's friends didn't even know his real background. They had tried to find it out, but failed to find anything, so they gave up in the end. That didn't matter to them, however. Everyone had secrets, and it was enough for them to know that Bradley had no bad intentions. When Dean sparred against Cameron, Dean was doomed to fail. This time, Cameron was much better than last time. As Dean said, as a major, Cameron trained or carried out tasks all day, so he never stopped making progress. It was very normal for him to win a lot. Therefore, Dean didn't feel angry. Instead, he enjoyed it when he competed with Cameron. At least he could persist for a longer time. If he competed with Bradley, he would lose in a moment. Bradley stayed at the circuit with his friends until about 5 o'clock p.m., then left for the restaurant, where he would meet Mia. He had asked her whether she needed him to pick her up, but she declined. In order to avoid rumors, she decided to go to the restaurant right after finishing class. When Bradley arrived, it was nearly 6 o'clock p.m. Mia arrived at 6:20 p.m. As a gentleman, Bradley stood up and pulled out a chair for her. "Have a seat, Miss Gomez," he invited. This was the first time that Bradley had pulled out a chair for a female. He was always aloof and had never been so gentle to a woman. Normally, he kept in touch with women for work, but in other situations he would avoid them. He had never had a romantic relationship with any woman, even though he was in his mid-20s. It was his own decision. "Thanks," Mia responded as she sat down. "You can order whatever you like. No need to save money for me," Bradley told her. Mia didn't hesitate and ordered 5 fancy seafood dishes: spicy fried crab, boiled Australian lobster, steamed fish, oyster scallops, and crab soup. "That's all? What else do you want to eat?" Bradley asked. He didn't think it was too much. After all, Mia was an athletic girl, so she could eat more than most people. "What do you want to eat?" Mia asked. She had ordered enough for herself. The dishes she ordered were served in large bowls and were even enough for the two of them. Bradley took over the menu and ordered 3 more dishes. The waiter was amazed by their order. There were only 2 of them, but they ordered enough food for 5 people. Did they have a big appetite, or were they so rich they could just waste money? Either way, they were customers, so as long as they paid the bill, it wasn't important how much they ordered. After ordering, the waiter walked out, and Bradley remarked, "One of my friends is a member of the Hahn family, the family that leads the faction Jonathan belongs to. He saw the video of you rescuing people, so he wants to meet you. But I didn't give him your phone number, so he'll try to find you. I'm just telling you this, because I don't want you to think that I gave him your phone number without permission. I didn't do that, but I can't stop him from searching for you either. Anyway, I believe you can avoid him if you want to." "Right, thanks for the heads up." Mia thanked him. Since the man was Bradley's friend and a member of the Hahn family, there was no reason for her to avoid him. If she could form a relationship with him, she could get closer to Bradley and expand her connections. Wherever she built her business, she would need connections if she wanted to be successful. Only when she had a close relationship with people would they treat her sincerely. If she only had status without connections, people might not really help her. Mia was good at socializing, but she somehow didn't know what to say in front of Bradley as they waited for their food to arrive. Bradley wasn't talkative, so he had no idea what to say either. As a result, both of them were silent. However, even though both of them were quiet, neither of them felt embarrassed. Still, they couldn't remain silent all the time, so Mia tried to start a topic. "Do you know how Jonathan is doing now?" she asked. "He's awake now, and in a good condition," Bradley answered. "Great," Mia said. "Miss Gomez, may I ask why you invested so much money or whether the future would stay the same. Still, nothing good came without risk. All in all, she was more likely to win than lose. Miss Gomez, I do appreciate your courage, and I believe in your ability to make money, Bradley complimented. Mia had really impressed him. You don't need to call me Miss Gomez. It sounds strange. After all, I'm only 18 years old. Why don't you just call me Mia? Mia suggested. She wanted to form a closer relationship with Bradley, so it was strange for him to address her so formally. No matter what purpose Mia had, Bradley felt it was indeed strange to call a teenage girl Miss Gomez, so he agreed. No problem, and please, call me by my first name, Bradley, he insisted. After the dishes were served, Mia and Bradley started eating and talked less. When they finished, Bradley said, "Let me drive you home." "Great, thank you, Bradley," Mia accepted. When they walked through the restaurant to leave, however, some drama happened. Because Bradley was tall and extraordinarily handsome, he attracted a lot of attention wherever he went. Mia had delicate features, but there were pimples all over her face, so she looked unattractive. Therefore, when they stood together, it didn't really look harmonious. As a result, it aroused some discussion from some snooty women nearby. "That man is so handsome, but the girl next to him is so ugly. They can't be a couple," a young woman whispered. "Of course they can't be a couple. The girl is so ugly that there's no way the man would like her," another woman gossiped. "What if the girl is his younger sister?" someone guessed. "No way. If they're related by blood, there shouldn't be such a huge gap between their appearances," a person pointed out. "Well, there must be a relationship between them. Otherwise, they wouldn't eat together," another young woman said. "How could this girl be so lucky to dine with such a handsome man?" the woman's friend complained in jealousy. Hearing their discussion, Mia was displeased and directly walked over to them. "Can't you mind your own business without insulting others? Do you think you are pretty? If you are, remove your makeup. You are not only ugly outside, but also on the inside. How could you judge other people publicly? Do you think you're superior to the others?" she accused. Those women were embarrassed when Mia criticized them and suddenly didn't know what to say. Mia didn't continue. She simply turned around and walked away. Bradley was also angry and felt that those women didn't have manners. Therefore, before he walked away, he gave them a cold glance, which scared them. After they were out of the restaurant, Bradley caught up to Mia. He understood that no one liked to be called ugly, and those women were very harsh just then. He bet that Mia must be hurt. He wasn't good at comforting people, but Mia was judged because of him, so he ought to do something. Therefore, he said, "Don't take their word seriously. It's like the old saying goes, what can you expect from a hog but a grunt?" Hearing Bradley's words, Mia laughed. "You look aloof. I'm surprised that you know how to comfort people. Don't worry, I'm not that weak, and it's not the first time that people have said that I'm ugly. I'm already used to it. It's just annoying, so I argue against them sometimes." feel embarrassed. Instead, she directly told him, "Bradley, you're extremely charming when you smile. Why don't you smile more often? You look like you're upset all the time. Aren't you afraid that your muscles will be stiff?" Hearing that, Bradley frowned. He seemed displeased, but actually felt Mia's words were interesting. "Well, I'm just afraid more women will be distracted by me if I smile often," he said, making a joke. "You're right. In order to not distract them, you shouldn't smile often," Mia laughed. After that, Bradley drove her home. When Mia got out of the car, she said, "Bradley, if you don't mind, can I invite you to have a meal together another time?" "Why not?" Bradley agreed. Gradually, he was convinced that Mia indeed had no bad intentions in getting to know him. Whether she had bad intentions or not, he needed to spend time with her to find out. There was no reason for him to turn her down. do the Gomez family good if Mia could successfully form a close relationship with Jonathan. They didn't want Mia to be the one who made that happen. In that case, Mia would become more and more powerful. Earlier this afternoon, Mr. Kushner called me personally. He is very grateful to you. After he recovers, he'll visit us and thank you in person, Master Gomez said. When Jonathan woke up, he needed to learn about the situation, so we did some research online. After watching the video of Mia and Bradley rescuing him and his chauffeur from the burning car, he was astonished. He couldn't believe a young man and a teenage girl saved his life. Because Bradley was a strong man, Jonathan wasn't too surprised that he was able to help, but he was totally amazed by Mia because she was so young and petite. Jonathan had gratitude for the people who saved him, so he ordered his secretary to find out their identities. However, before his secretary did that, Brady Brooks came to see him and told him their identities. Brady was familiar with Mia, but he didn't know much about Bradley. He only said that Bradley was Cameron Hahn's friend. After that, Jonathan called Cameron and asked him to help pass on his thanks to Bradley. Then he asked Brady for Master Gomez's phone number and called him. Although Master Gomez was retired, he used to be the vice mayor, and he was the grandfather of his lifesaver. So Jonathan wanted to show his gratitude and respect. That was how Master Gomez found out that Mia had saved Jonathan. Back in her room, Mia continued to check the stocks she bought. Recently, the stocks had gone down rapidly, and Mia and Vicente had bought a lot. Vicente trusted Mia, but he was still nervous. After all, he had invested $5 million in it. What he didn't know was that Mia had invested over $10 million in it. He had no idea that she was so rich. Companies involved in the stocks were very curious about why a few select people were largely acquiring those stocks that were sold at low prices. But it was good news for them. If no one bought their stocks, they would suffer a great loss. At about 9 o'clock p.m., Mia received a call from Spencer. He told her that he was challenged to a race at 10 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, and asked her whether she wanted to go. Mia didn't know when Spencer would be injured, so she had to go whenever he had a race in order to make sure he would be safe. Thus, she quickly agreed to accompany him. After hanging up the call with Spencer, Mia called Mr. McKinnon to ask for leave for the next morning. Lately, Mr. McKinnon never asked much about Mia's leave and directly gave her permission. Given her abilities, it didn't matter whether she attended class. Excellent students could receive special treatment. Alyssa was in a bad mood today, and she looked upset, even when she was home. Seeing that, Vivian immediately asked with concern, "Alyssa, what happened?" "Nothing," Alyssa snapped. She didn't want to talk to her mother about it. The truth was, Elijah had only sent her one message today and said nothing else. As a result, she had many negative thoughts. Alyssa's expression betrayed her, so Vivian didn't believe her answer, but she didn't ask anything else right away. After following Alyssa to her room, she tried again. "I don't believe it. Tell me what exactly has happened. I'm worried about you," she urged. After remaining silent for a while, Alyssa complained. "Elijah heard about what happened to us yesterday, but he didn't say anything to comfort me. He only said that he's glad I'm fine. He didn't send me another message for the whole day." "What? He didn't comfort you at all?" Vivian asked, sounding displeased. She thought Elijah's reaction was unacceptable, because it seemed as if he didn't care about Alyssa at all. "Mom, do you think that he will regret that Mia ended their engagement because she has become so outstanding now?" Alyssa worried aloud. Even though she had tried all kinds of excuses, trying to persuade herself not to have that thought, she was still worried. In the past, Vivian wouldn't hesitate to tell Alyssa that couldn't happen, because Mia was ugly. However, after hearing Mia's argument about her appearance earlier, Vivian became anxious. It turned out that Mia wasn't ugly. On the contrary, she could be prettier than Alyssa. Therefore, it was possible that Elijah would want to get Mia back. Nevertheless, Vivian refused to admit it. Without delay, she comforted Alyssa by saying, "You're thinking too much about it. It's impossible for Elijah to like Mia. You're the one he loves. Perhaps he's just busy. After all, he has a job and is the heir of the Henderson family. He needs to deal with a lot of things every day. Why don't be able to find a better man. Right. I'll send him a message on WeChat right now, Alyssa agreed. She had wanted to do that before, but was too angry at Elijah. Now that Vivian said the same thing, she needed to do it. She sent him a message that said, "Hi Elijah, what are you doing now?" Then she waited for a few minutes, but Elijah still didn't reply, so she got angry. Vivian had the same feeling, but still comforted Alyssa by guessing, "He must be occupied with work right now. Don't worry too much. He'll reply to you once he sees it." Alyssa comforted herself the same way, but soon began to think about it. In the past, Elijah replied to her really quickly. He only replied slowly occasionally, because he was indeed very busy sometimes. In the past, Alyssa didn't have any negative feelings if he took a while to respond, but now she was full of anxiety. 10 minutes later, Elijah finally replied, "I'm at a business meal." Reading Elijah's reply, Alyssa was relieved, and so was Vivian. "I told you, he was busy, so we didn't have time to talk to you. Since he's at a business meal now, don't interrupt him. Just say, 'I shouldn't bother you. You can get back to your work. Don't drink too much, because you need to care about your health. Men need care, and he'll be touched if you say that to him. He'll be impressed," Vivian said. "All right," Alyssa answered, then replied to Elijah. A few minutes later, Elijah responded, "I know. I'll call you when I'm free." Reading that, Alyssa completely relaxed and became happy, and so did Vivian. "Alyssa, talk to me if you encounter any trouble again, all right? Don't keep it to yourself. That won't solve problems," Vivian said. "All right, I know," Alyssa replied. She felt glad that she shared it with her mother. Otherwise, she would still be in a terrible mood. "Well, I should go," Vivian said. Then she stood up and left. Now that Alyssa was in a better mood, she began to study. She was a good student, but she still needed to review continuously, especially after Mia beat her on the monthly test. She was still mad about that. She really hoped that Mia would fail on the next monthly test, so that she could go back to beating her. However, she knew it wasn't likely. At that time, Elijah wasn't actually at a business meal. He was in a clubhouse with his friends. There was a difference between a business meal and playing around. Elijah wasn't a good man. In a clubhouse, he hired several girls to have fun with him. However, compared with his friends, he limited his behavior. He hugged and kissed, but he didn't get too intimate with them. He was afraid of contracting diseases, so he was unwilling to get intimate with women who had slept with too many men. However, his friends were totally different. They wouldn't hesitate. The next day, Mia didn't go to school with Alyssa. She waited at home until Spencer came to pick her up. There were available cars in the Gomez family's mansion, but Mia didn't have a driver's license, so she didn't drive, even though she knew how to. If she did, it would cause problems if the traffic police caught her. When Master Gomez saw that Mia didn't go to school, he thought she might be ill, so he asked anxiously, "Mia, why didn't you go to school? Do you feel sick?" "No, I just need to do something later," Mia replied. When Vivian heard that, she wondered whether Mia was going to go on a date with the man she saw yesterday. Therefore, she deliberately interjected, "You're too young to pay attention to other things besides studying. The SAT is around the corner, and you have a lot of classes to go to." "I used to be a horrible student, and I was always absent from classes. Aunt Vivian, why didn't you care about me so much back then? Now I'm a straight-A student, and I'm rarely absent from classes. Why are you so worried about me?" Mia mocked. Vivian was struck dumb for a moment and didn't know what to say. They all knew that she didn't really care about Mia. Mia continued, "I'm an adult now. I'm not a 3-year-old child. There are many things in my life that are more important than studying." "Are you going to go on a date with the man who drove you home last night?" Vivian asked with jealousy. Master Gomez was surprised and immediately turned to look at Mia. "What? A man drove you home yesterday?" he asked. Mia had been Elijah's girlfriend for a while, but they were engaged, so Master Gomez didn't think much about it. However, he still felt Mia was too young to be in a romantic relationship. Therefore, he was reluctant to find out that Mia was dating someone. "Yes, a man drove me home last night. He's the man who rescued people from the explosion with me the night before yesterday. We met by accident, and he drove me home afterwards. I don't think it's a big deal," Mia said. It wasn't quite the truth, but she didn't want to explain, and she didn't want Master Gomez to be worried. She continued, "Is there a problem with a man driving me home? If I see Aunt Vivian talking with a man alone, is there something abnormal going on between them as well?" Vivian gasped and narrowed her eyes in anger. "How dare you!" she yelled. "All right, stop it. Mia can do whatever she wants. I didn't say anything. Why did you judge her?" Master Gomez snapped at Vivian. He had a deep trust in Mia. Since Master Gomez said that, Vivian didn't dare to say anything else. Mia had told Spencer to stop outside the block she lived in when he came to pick her up. Therefore, once he was about to arrive, Mia left to meet him at the entrance of her block. When she reached that area, Spencer arrived. Once Mia opened the car door, Harper abruptly jumped up from the back seat. "Surprise! Hey Mia, I'm also here," she squealed excitedly. "Why didn't you go to school?" asked Mia. She didn't expect to see Harper in Spencer's car. "I didn't want any rumors to start about you and Spencer going to the circuit together, so I decided to come with you," Harper explained. She didn't want anyone to get any ideas that could damage Mia's reputation. Mia already had a bad reputation, so personally, she didn't care about that at all. Besides, she didn't do anything wrong, so she wasn't afraid of people's discussions. Still, if it was possible, she wanted to avoid any rumors. If other people badmouthed her, she wouldn't care if she didn't hear it. However, if she heard it, she wouldn't tolerate it. At any rate, she felt touched that Harper cared about her. "Am I the best friend ever?" Harper asked, seeming very proud. "Yes, it's very considerate of you," Mia smiled. Then she got in the car, and they set off.
Dear listener, the upcoming episode will be today's last free episode of this story. Come back tomorrow to enjoy free episodes, or get coins now to continue listening.
As they drove, Spencer asked, "Mia, when you ran to rescue people from the fire,
Mm-hmm.